Hi everyone, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, January 27th. We at Apricot Law, New York, survived the big blizzard of 2015, and we're excited and ready to tackle our third webinar of the year. And without further ado, I'm just going to hand it over to our co-founder and president, Nick Kringus.
Okay, great, Jenny. Thank you. Not much of a blizzard. I think we got 6 inches here in Westchester County, just north of the city. So yeah, Lawyer SEO webinar with me and hosted by Jenny. Thank you for that kind introduction. This is the third of the weekly webinars where we dive into, well, this week we're going to be diving into the top ranking personal injury firms in Connecticut and seeing what makes them tick. Quickly about me, if you haven't heard this before, I'm from a small town called Ossining, New York. Grew up in a family restaurant business, graduated from Syracuse, opened 4 restaurants and food service businesses, purchased my first SEO home study course in 2010, ranked my local restaurant for #1 for the broad phrase Greek restaurant nationally, and formed Apricot Law Inc. with my partner Tom Desmond in November of 2003. Here are some of our results that we were able to obtain for clients. Most recently, we were able to get on page 1 for criminal defense lawyer Brooklyn, which was one of our clients' top keywords, so that was exciting. Another one last week that we broke into the top 10 for was broken bones lawyer NYC, which was a really competitive term and one that the other client wanted to rank for. So those were most recent. This one, SEMrush, defines SE traffic value, SE traffic price as the estimated cost for visitors coming to a site organically based on the cost of the same number of visitors generated by ads. So this firm would have paid $31,000 if they had the same traffic on a cost per click basis. Here we are, #1 for personal injury lawyer SEO, and 345 top 10 rankings for the original core group of clients that we took on as law firms, the original 5, including 170 #1 rankings. There's 3 pages of these. There's our guy for Brooklyn criminal lawyers, and here are examples of ranking multiple times on the first page for different keywords. A mistake that we see a lot of lawyers making is trying to rank just their website instead of borrowing the authority of sites like YouTube and Facebook and ranking those as well. So if you haven't already done so, the only way that we're going to be able to speak the same language is if you understand the core metrics behind SEO, and we try to break it down into just a math equation with a couple of, I think there are 9 key elements on this lawyer SEO cheat sheet that every lawyer should know about their website. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and download. You could do it after the webinar because we're not going to be going over it specifically. But download your free copy of the Lawyer SEO cheat sheet at bit.ly/lawyer SEO cheat sheet. And before we jump into the firms in Connecticut, we need to go over the top metrics that we'll be mentioning often here and moving forward. And they're really everything revolves around these 2 metrics these days. After PageRank dying to the public and no longer being updated, we use Moses Domain Authority, which is, it represents Moses' best prediction for how a website will perform in search engine rankings. Use domain authority when comparing one site to another or tracking the strength of your website over time. We calculate this metric by combining all our other link metrics. So in layman's terms, it's the domain authority is the cumulative strength of all of the web pages, all of the pages of a website combined. Importance of domain authority. The higher the DA, the easier it is to rank pages of that website. The higher the DA, the less page authority is needed to rank any web page. So this is clearly evident by when you see legal directories ranking on page 1, in multiple positions on page 1 and different legal directories ranking, and the page that's ranking has like a page authority of 1 or 10, which is a lot lower than the other pages on the first page, but their domain authority is like in the 90s, and that's evidence of lower page authority needed to rank any page. The higher DA, the quicker you can rank pages of that website. So this is important when there's breaking news, like a blizzard, for example. And Jenny came to us the other day and said, why don't we try to rank for like slip and fall type stuff so that our clients can take advantage of people that unfortunately slip and fall and hurt themselves and they want to sue. Well, if you have a website with an existing high domain authority, you can it's much quicker to put up a new page and then rank that page for something like slipped because of a blizzard and hurt myself, I need a lawyer, or slip and fall lawyer Brooklyn, for example, than it would be if you have a website with a really low domain authority, that like a new domain. It takes a lot longer if it's lower. The higher the domain authority, the more trusted links are from that website. So that means that if you have links coming from a really high authority website, those links are more trusted by Google as points of reference. The higher the DA, the more insulated the website is from search engine penalty. This is a big one. And then Moses page authority is Moses' calculated metric for how well a given web page is likely to rank in Google's search results. It is based off data from the Moscape Web Index and includes link counts, MosRank, MosTrust. It uses a machine learning model to predictively find an algorithm that best correlates with rankings across the thousands of search results that we predict against. So this is really accurate in determining how any web page will rank in Google. In layman terms, page authority is the strength and rankability of any single web page. So now that we got that house cleaning, I guess you'd call it. Oh, excuse me, one more slide. Importance of page authority. Page authority is the new page rank. The higher the page authority, the more likely that web page is to rank on the first page of Google for its target's keywords. The higher the page authority of a website's backlinks, which we'll see today, the more effect they have on the website's ranking. And the higher the page authority, the more valuable links are from that web page. So if you're going out, and Google frowns upon this, but if you're in the industry of buying links in that space, the higher the page authority, in the past it was page rank, the more it would cost to get a link on that website or web page. So Connecticut personal injury lawyer analysis. This is what we're going to be going over today, a look at the top ranking personal injury law firms in the state of Connecticut. We could, if we have time, get into a few towns like Hartford, New Haven, or Stamford. But first, we're going to look at statewide for the search phrase Connecticut personal injury lawyer, who's ranking and what is causing those rankings. So let's get out of this presentation quickly. Put it into reading mode so we can just look at it here. And then let's head over to Google. And the first thing we do is search for Connecticut personal injury lawyer or attorney. You probably get pretty similar results for either of those, attorney or lawyer words. The very first organic spot is a directory, and this is the case in point here. The DA is an 85, although the page authority of this particular page is pretty high. It has a high domain authority, and we'll look to see on the first page we have 2, 3 different high DA legal directories ranking on the first page of Google. As a side note, a lot of these people that also offer SEO services, it's sort of a conflict of interest because they're trying to rank for the exact same terms. And what they do is they build a website for you or for your law firm, and then they link back to their site, and that just powers their website and their rankings. So just a side note there. Okay, so the very first and top ranking law firm for Connecticut personal injury lawyer is this, I'm going to butcher the name, but Trantalo and Trantalo, or TrantaloLaw.com. And if you go to the actual site, let's just take a look. I like to always quickly look at the site to see what the page has on it and why it's ranking from an on-page perspective. So it's important to note that right at the very top, this phrase that it's ranking for, or a variation of it, law firm instead of lawyer, is right at the very top of the page in what we call an H1 tag. And how do I know it's an H1 tag? Well, it's not an image, but to see the underpinnings or what's happening behind the scenes, all you have to do is right-click on anything on a page and click Inspect Element. I think all internet browsers have this capability. And then if you look down here, when you hover over the elements, I know this is as technical as it gets, and I promise it's not as hard as it looks, but if you hover over the actual line of code and it highlights that thing there, that phrase there, it says here H1 tagline. See, when I hover over it, you'll see it right here, H1.tagline, and in the code down here where my cursor is, it's in an H1 tag. So if you see the term in an H1, H2, or H3 tag, that just means it's a heading, and it tells Google that that's an important phrase. And what this firm did well was it put it way up top at the very top of the page, because Google sees anything at the very top as the most important on the page. And then you'll even see that it doesn't have a lot of text at all, but it's still ranking just by that one H1 tag, and the rest must be coming from links. So let's get into the actual links and the analysis of this website here, Trantolo and Trantolo. Is everybody following me so far, Jenny?
Yes, I'm following. You know, it's Trantolo and Trantolo. I grew up in Connecticut and remember their TV commercials, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a family Connecticut. It's a family.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to North Branford High School. I
North
grew up in
Branford.
the New Haven area, so.
So Connecticut's personal injury law firm. So here, if you don't already have it, you should have this. You might have noticed this Mo's bar at the top. I like to have it on when I'm looking at websites to see how strong they are, because it'll show you the metrics for any given website that you're looking at. This particular page has a PA of 44, so that's pretty strong, and a DA of 33. And we just spoke about this today on our team weekly meeting, that most law firms, they try to optimize the homepage for everything that they want to rank for, which is a mistake, and that's evident here, and we'll see that in the actual metrics, I'm sure. I haven't even looked at the metrics yet, but the PA being a lot higher than the DA just means that a lot of the links pointing to the site are going to the homepage. And one reason for that is a lot of law firms, they like directory links. They're easy to build and make sense because people find these directories, and it's not only beneficial from an SEO perspective, but also from a traffic perspective. But those links normally point to the company's homepage. And the DA is the cumulative power, like we said earlier, of all the pages, and it just shows that the other pages are being neglected somewhat. So just keep in mind that the homepage should be for branding, and the inner pages should be for ranking. Okay, so let's plug this site into Open Site Explorer from Moz. That's a tool from Moz. Moz.com/researchtools/OSE. So I take just the domain name just like that, and as a matter of fact, put it in exactly as you see it here, without the HTTP, so that we can look at the metrics of the actual page, and then click search. There is a difference between the page with the www and without, even though they redirect to one another usually. For Open Site Explorer, put the one that's actually in your browser in, and then click search. And as you can see here, the only thing that I use Open Site Explorer for is to look at the actual links, not the number of links, but we go down here to inbound links, and I want to see the actual links pointing to this website. What's powering this website? Oh yeah, it's a perfect example of why this website is ranking pretty highly. Their top link here, let me log in, excuse me 1 second, so we can see all of the metrics. So their top link here, and by the way, the range is not that impressive. Their top link is 72, and then it quickly goes down into the 40s, and then by the end of the first page of links, we're at 31 for page authority. And we're only looking at page authority here because remember from our explanation of page authority, that's what matters when it comes to links and how powerful any link is, not the domain authority. That might show that the web page is trustworthy, but it's not a rank improving link if it has a low PA but a high DA. So we're looking at page authority here. The very top link is a Wikipedia page that has a PA of 72 with the anchor text Connecticut personal injury attorney in quotes. So exactly what they want to rank for. And it's pointing to an inner page, actually. Let's look at this link here and find the link and see what's going on. Okay, so this was for fuel tank. And in order to find the link, Connecticut personal injury attorney was the anchor text. So that should be the text in the link. And if you click Control F, we have this little box here that pops up, and we can quickly find the link by typing in the anchor text. Yeah, you see here references. They are referenced. One of their articles was referenced right on this Wikipedia page, which is a PA 72 and a DA 100. So not saying that you need a Wikipedia page, but this page is really powerful. This link is really powerful because it's coming from a really high authority page and it's relevant. The two factors that go into making any link strong: relevance and authority, and this one has both of those. So if you click on this link, you'll see that it circles right back to this airplane accidents page, which happens to not be found. So this, if this is your firm, you're going to want to put some information on here so that a moderator of Wikipedia doesn't find that there's a dead link and just delete the link. So that's a problem that this firm should fix, and it's not very hard. They already have the link, so instead of losing it, all they have to do is put some content on the page so that if anybody sees the link, it's alive and they keep it there because it's their most powerful link. Okay, next, let's look at, this is one that every law firm should have. I see this so many times at the top of the link profile of top ranking law firms is the $1,000,000advocates.com. I think there's a fee for the year and they may have to accept you, and usually it's like a 60 or 62 PA, but this is a different page, still very strong at 54. They're second highest in their links. So let's look here. Yeah, website member link information. You click on that and get information about listing your own firm there. And then to find the link, it's the anchor text is the URL. So Control F on your PC. If you're a Mac, I don't know what it is to search. Trentolo. So here it is. Here's the link. TrentoloLaw.com. PA54, DA60. PA54 is very respectable. That would have been a page rank of 5. And PA is updated monthly, so it's a lot more accurate than PageRank. The next thing we like to do after we look at these links, besides getting an idea of where we can get links from, and this is a PR Web. PR Web, by the way, is probably the greatest in terms of link building source for press releases because they publish your press release on a page on their site that usually has a pretty high PA. So that's a bonus for using that service. DMOZ, if they accept you, you should definitely try to get into this directory here, DMOZ. So this firm has pretty respectable links on the top of their link profile. Dream Ride might have been like a paid link, I'm not sure. Next could have been even an image. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's I believe it was an image, but I'm not sure, and I won't go into it too detailed because it doesn't matter at this point. But there's a link on that page as well, and that seems like a sponsored link, so they probably just bought it there. Yeah, so pretty strong here, their links. And so let's search another tool to see a little bit more about this website and why they're so strong in the rankings for Connecticut personal injury lawyer. It's called Majestic.com. Let me log in here as well. Yeah, this is why it's so strong. So if you see here, the trust flow is very high. Anything over 10 means that the website is pretty healthy. Trust flow in layman's terms means that it's getting links from relevant sources. And as you can see here, topical trust flow is mostly society and law, right on topic. Citation flow is the number of links coming in over the past 90 days in this fresh index here. When you search for your website, you want to make sure that it says root domain. That's why I put it in without the www, so it would do that by default. The trust flow, citation flow, very strong for this site. One thing that I noticed for this site that's not that strong is that it only has 162 referring domains with a whopping 25,000 external backlinks coming from those domains. What that means is they're overusing each of these sites that they can get links on to get links. So from 162 domains or websites, it has 25,000 links, and let me see the math real quick on that. So that's over 150 links, 154 links per website linking in, which is a lot. I don't usually like to see over 10 links per referring domain coming in, and that ratio is pretty healthy. 154 just means they're overusing each of the domains that they're able to get links from, and it's not as powerful as they could be. And in fact, that's the Achilles heel of this website. If you were in this market, to take them down would be that you can get more referring domains easily in a matter of a few months to take this firm down and out of that spot. Index URLs, the site is pretty big. It has 1,500 pages indexed on the site. And then this is the #1 reason why websites are penalized by Google and not on the first page of Google is the anchor text. In the past, we would just use Connecticut personal injury lawyer as the anchor text or the text in the link. This is an example of anchor text right here, anchor text and FAQs. Any link that has text, that's called anchor text, whatever the words are that are clickable. So anything over 10% on any given term would be that you're on the borderline or very likely to be penalized by Google for that term. And in fact, we're finding that it actually it taints the entire website, not just that one page or just for that one term. So if you look at this anchor text, brand is the top one, Transilo and Transilo, percentage 9.45. Anything with brand or URL, very healthy. Google loves to see it. You can't have enough branded links. You should have like over 90% of your links having the name of your website. That's perfectly normal, and it shows Google that people are talking about you by name. And one of the reasons why this website's ranking so highly in Google because people are linking to it by name. The next is the URL, brand name variation, a generic term, brand name. See, this is Connecticut personal injury attorney, 3.51%, 3.15%. This is perfectly natural to have anything under 5%, and you need it to rank for that term, which they're doing properly. They're using the anchor tag just enough, but not too much where it gets penalized. And then everything else is is mostly brand. Nursing home neglect is like a generic phrase. So a very good anchor text profile. With this many links, I'd like to see it even more diverse, frankly. With 162 referring domains and all these links, 25,000 links, this slice of the pie should be very small, like 1/10 of the pie should make up all these anchor text, and everything else, the other anchor text, should be way more than 60% in my opinion. I've seen a lot more healthy anchor text in this with more diversity. So the more diversity, the better. Backlink breakdown. Yeah, if you see here, images account for 25,000 links. So they're just doing a lot of banner advertising. Redirects is 376. Wow, so very little text links. So this site, another hole that this site has is that it doesn't have that many text links, which are the most powerful types of links. In content, text links. And this one is clearly using images and redirects way too much. So does that make sense so far, Jenny?
Making sense to me.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure that I'm not losing anybody with this technical SEO speak.
I just want to add, at the beginning of all our webinars, you're always talking about the benefits of using the Moz plugin, and then now you've introduced the Majestic SEO site. But just me personally, now that I have it on all the time, even if you're not looking at a law firm site specifically, do you agree that you can gain a lot of good tips and insight just in your regular browsing whenever you
Oh
see a
yeah,
site that has
that's
a
what
really
it's all
high
about. I
authority?
mean, the more you see these metrics for different websites, the clearer it'll become to you why things are ranking and why yours is not, and you'll quickly see like a gap between yours and your competitors.
Mhm.
Also, in addition, if you find websites that have a high PA and they allow comments, then by all means leave a comment so that you can get a link back to your site. So it's not no extra time in your schedule to do so, but you would have never known how powerful a website was from an SEO perspective if you didn't have that toolbar on. Okay, so if everybody's still with me here, see this tool shows links as well, and it shows more of the links. I don't know if you remember, but the number of links that Open Site Explorer showed, I think were less than this. It usually is. See how it says 57 root domains? Oh, that's to the page. Excuse me. See, it's just a matter of preference, really. Because see, this site will only show you the top numbers for the page, and then down here will show you the links for the entire root domain if you choose to do so. But I like the way that Majestic um, categorizes it. So if you put root domain up here, it shows you all the links going to the site right up top. And I normally find that Open Site Explorer is better for showing like the authority of links and the authority of any website. But Majestic, I like their index better. I think it's more comprehensive and it shows more of the links pointing to a website. So for the numbers, I go here. For the in-depth numbers, I go to Majestic. But for the top line, PA and DA, of a site and its backlinks, I use Open Site Explorer. I hope that makes sense. Okay, the next one I want to go to, let's see if we can do one more site quickly before we get into questions. So yeah, if you notice Stanford personal injury lawyer or any specific town in Connecticut, you'll see that the DAs and PAs are a little bit lower because it's not as competitive, basically, as a statewide search like Connecticut personal injury. So you see here, this is a DA11, a pretty weak and probably a new site. Yeah, it's only 3 referring domains is linking to this page, and it's ranking on the first page for Stanford. So just by scrolling down and the Moz bar, if you have it installed, it'll show these metrics underneath the actual search results. You can see that this term right here is not that competitive, not as competitive anyway as Connecticut personal injury lawyers. So I lost my place here, but let's look at Stanford. If you're in Stanford, let's find one more website from Stanford specifically, and then analyze that one. Why not? So the strongest one I see here is, let me find a strong DA for a law firm's website. So the strongest one is this one here. Let's see what they're doing locally in the Stanford market to get links. So it's loading at the bottom. Okay, so their top link, and you can see why the other site was a lot more powerful than this one, because the other site had a Wikipedia link that was a PA 72, and this one has their highest link is a 46, and it's from the dmos.org directory, internet directory. So if they accept you, it might take a little while, but apply to be included in the dmos.org directory. It's one of the most authoritative. HQ.org is another directory, AVO. So these people are using a lot of directories as well. Bestlawfirms.us news, perhaps they were mentioned as a best law firm. You can look at that to see how you can be included in that as well. Martindale, Find Law, HQ. So the first page is entirely made up of directories. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but you should definitely have directories in your link profile. The way to beat this firm, if you're in Stanford, is to have all these same links plus more, so that the PAs of your links would be a higher range. Let's say you get one from a PA 60. Like if you find a blog to comment on, for example, that has a PA of over 46 and you leave a comment, your top backlink will be stronger than this one. So do what they do, copy them by having these directories, but then go one step further by finding stronger links to get links from as well. So I think we're just about out of time. I want to keep this educational portion especially to under half an hour. So before we get into questions, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have a special offer for people watching this. We've set aside some time to speak with you personally, and during that time, we'll evaluate your law practice and your website and work with you collaboratively to create an immediately actionable plan to increase the number of targeted visitors to your website. There is no charge for this, and there's no catch. If you enjoy the conversation and get value from it, we can discuss working together long term. Here's some of what you'll get on the call. We will spy on your competition so you can see what they're doing that's working and copy it for yourself, saving you months of testing on your own. We will come up with keywords you should be targeting so you can attract the ideal prospects for your practice. We will uncover possible problems with your website that might be holding you back so you can either correct the problem or stop wasting time and money on a dead site if that's the case. And why would we offer this? Number one, we enjoy helping attorneys grow their legal practices and help more people in need of their services. And frankly, we just like digging into the backlinks and looking under the hood of websites. It gives us extra experience. Number two, this is how we attract clients. How much does it cost to become a client? Depending on the current health of your law firm's website, the competitiveness of your market, and your business goals, being a full-service client will require an absolute minimum investment of $60,000 paid in 12 equal monthly installments. This strategy call will not be a sales pitch disguised as a free consultation, though. Of course, there's no obligation to become a client, nor do we accept every person we speak with as a full-service client. Regardless of whether we end up working together or not, you will get a valuable report about your law firm's online presence and an actionable plan you can use right away to start getting more traffic to your website so you can attract more ideal clients to your law firm. To prove how serious we are about delivering value to you on this call, we're offering an unheard of guarantee. If you feel that we have wasted your time, we will send you a check for $1,000 as compensation. 3 possible outcomes of the call. Number 1, you love the plan and you decide to implement it on your own. If that's the case, we wish you the best of luck. We only ask that you check in from time to time to let us know how it's going. Number 2, you love the plan and ask to become a client. That's great because we love taking on new clients. Number 3, in the unlikely and unprecedented event you feel you have wasted your time, we will send you a check for $1,000. So either way, you come out ahead. This is not for everyone. We are very picky about who we'll speak with, and we have a strict but reasonable set of criteria that needs to be met in order for us to proceed. Those criteria. Number 1, I have success and credibility in a certain area of law already and would like to take my practice to the next level. So this is not really for a brand new law firm or someone that just passed the bar. Number 2, I own my own law firm and or I am authorized to make decisions about marketing for the firm. And number 3, I understand that being a full-service client of Apricot Law will require a minimum investment of $60,000 paid in 12 equal monthly installments. So what to do next? If you meet all 4 criteria points and would like to schedule a call with one of the founders of Apricot Law, visit the web address below and submit your information on the page that opens. We will review your application and get back to you within 24 hours with a response. Then that web address is bit.ly/lawyerseo. Okay, so now that we got that sponsored message out of the way, let's get into the webinar Q&A. Let me get out of this real quick.
So Nick, you have 6 questions that have accumulated from our Facebook wall.
Okay, cool.
And to our info@Apricot Law email address. Some were posted prior to the webinar, and some I think came out during the webinar. So
okay.
Ready to get to it.
Yep, go ahead.
Question number 1. About how many firms are there competing for search engine results for Connecticut / NYC area personal injury lawyers?
Good question. So the only way to answer that is to search for Connecticut personal injury lawyer and see how many results have that word or phrase on that page that's ranking. So here is 1.12 million results. So that's the number of people competing for that phrase. But that doesn't really give you the most accurate measure of how competitive any term is. Just because people have that phrase on their website doesn't mean that they're really competing or trying to rank on or working really hard to rank on page 1. Not to say that it's not competitive, it just doesn't tell you how competitive it is. The way to really know how competitive it is by looking at these metrics of the pages on page 1. So here we have a range from PA 44, and I think that was the highest. Well, 46 was from an actual legal directory, so we'll not include that in our range. 43, 45. This one has a 30, 31, 28, 40. So the range is between 28, PA 28, and PA 46, I believe it was. So that's really tells you that that's the accurate measure of how competitive any search phrase is to get onto the first page for. And those numbers are pretty high. So getting on page 1 for Connecticut personal injury lawyer, for example, would probably take you a while to get your PA up to this range to even compete. So I hope that answered your question.
I hope that it did too, and I think that it was a great answer. So on to question number 2.
Okay.
Can you compare Connecticut's top personal injury law firm, Trantolo and Trantolo, with Salino and Barnes, a New York personal injury firm that also has commercials on TV all the time?
Oh yeah, perfect. That's an excellent question. So yeah, let's do that. So here's Trantolo and Trantolo. So that's a PA 44, which is their homepage, and a DA of 33. And if we open this, let's go to Salino and Barnes. I know them pretty well because we also have a client in that market, and I see their TV advertisements, I think, every day. So yeah, just off the top line, you'll see. Let's see here. So first of all, the page, SalinoandBarnes.com, the homepage, has a lot more text than Trantolo and Trantolo, and usually more text means better rankings. Google is still a text-based algorithm, so the more text on the page, the better. If it doesn't have enough content on the page, we call it a thin page, and it has less opportunity or less likelihood of ranking. So the top line, we're looking at PA 44, DA 33 to PA 47, DA 37. So Salino and Barnes is stronger and probably ranks for more terms. Let's also look at Salino and Barnes has to be stronger for ranking for New York City because it's more competitive than Connecticut. So another thing you can look at for comparison is something called semrush.com, and if you type in, and this only shows you the keywords that they're ranking for that has actual AdWords traffic, so it's not every single keyword that it ranks for, which doesn't give you a full picture of everything that it ranks for, but it gives you a top line comparison. I think I spelled that correctly. Perhaps I didn't. Yeah, that's the wrong website. Excuse me 1 second. So Trantolo Law ranks for, or the search engine traffic is 296 visitors last month, let's say. and it spiked up quite significantly over the summer. So maybe they did some SEO work here, and it has a traffic price of 12,441. And if you look at Salino and Barnes, I think theirs is a lot higher. So just from this metric, it's a lot stronger of a website as well. Yeah, I mean, it's no comparison. This one is 446,000 is their SC traffic price, which is one of the higher that I've seen. And then lastly, if you go to Majestic, this one has 162 referring domains, and Salino and Barnes has 361, so 3 times the amount of referring domains. And I would just assume that those are also a lot stronger, because I think I remember seeing that the PAs of their links was a lot stronger. So that's the comparison of those two firms.
So just to piggyback off of this user's question, so that I can make it more beneficial for the masses, how is a law firm take that information that you've just shared with us? They're looking at Salino and Barnes on Majestic or using their Moz plugin. What can they do next, top line, seeing this to make their site successful?
That's a very good question. So if you're nowhere near the authority of a Salino and Barnes, then I suggest not going after NYC personal injury lawyer or things that they rank for right away. What you want to do is you want to go after things like nursing home abuse lawyer, NYC, or dog bite injury lawyer, or even birth injury lawyer, NYC, which they're all extremely valuable terms, maybe even more valuable in terms of bringing in clients than NYC personal injury lawyer. But you want to go after those terms that are a lot less competitive than NYC personal injury lawyer. And then over time, as you build your DA and the PA of the page that you want to rank, you'll naturally come to compete with those firms. But go after terms that you think you'll win at first to build your confidence, and in the meantime you're going to be building up the authority of your website as you rank for those lesser terms.
Great answer, Nick. Okay, so I'm going to skip to question number 5. Well, don't worry, we're going to go back to question 3, only because I can see it's sort of related to these two firms that you've been analyzing. Okay. Number 5. Is there a correlation with having local cable commercials in Connecticut and increasing your SEO ranking? Do you think it helps, or is TV dead?
That's also an excellent question. It doesn't help SEO directly. Like if, let's say you put a TV commercial on, you can't expect your website to just go up in ranking because Google also saw the TV commercial. So the benefit of a TV commercial, though, is that you attract links from authority websites because of it. So for example, you may get a link from local cable companies that aired that commercial. So just by putting out the commercial, you may get links right away and directly. And then indirectly, people hear the name and are more likely to link to you because you're an authority, you've been on TV. So from an SEO perspective, not 100% directly, but indirectly from the links that it generates and the publicity that it generates, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much brand awareness, wouldn't you agree? So, exactly. You know, instead of when something happens to people and they're injured, they might just automatically think, oh,
yeah, I actually have a great example. There's a lawyer in New Jersey. I think his last name is Casino. If you look him up, or if, you'll see that he ranks for a bunch of New Jersey personal injury terms after putting out a Super Bowl commercial, and he paid like $100,000 for the production of this locally aired. I guess it only aired locally because Super Bowl commercials are a lot more if you air them nationally, I guess, because it's reported that he paid about $100,000 to produce and to air the commercial, and all of the links going to his website are from news sites that reported on him making this Super Bowl commercial. So that's a perfect example. I think his name is Jamie Casino.
Great. So ready to go back to question number 3.
Yep.
I've been watching your Apricot Law videos for powerful backlinks. What are
Mm-hmm.
the top affiliate links or Connecticut networks my law firm should join for powerful backlinks?
That's another great question. So, like I said earlier, Million Dollar Advocates Forum, they usually put you on a really powerful page. The link will go on a really powerful page. Also, your AVO profile usually has a pretty high page authority. PRWeb.com, that's a big one. I see PRWeb.com a lot on top lawyer backlink profiles, so that's another one that would put you on a high PA page, so that's an easy one to get. Um, a little bit more elbow grease, but free would be the blog commenting strategy that I talked about in one of the recent videos, where you go and if you find a blog that allows you to leave a comment and the PA is very high, go ahead and leave that comment, and that's an excellent way to get powerful backlinks. And not only are they powerful because of the authority, but they're also powerful because they're thematically relevant and on topic. Because if you're reading a law blog, for example, and they allow you to comment, it's not only a high PA potentially if you find one, but it also has power because it's so relevant to your topic, which is law.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Before you cut in, I was pretty much done with the answer, but a great way to find these and for me to teach you how to fish as opposed to giving you the fish is going and using Open Site Explorer and analyzing the top ranking law firms in your area or in other areas and seeing where they get links from and just copying exactly what they do.
basically, do your homework, guys, and
Do
it'll
you
pay off later,
know?
right?
Exactly.
Or hire an agency such as ourselves, or perhaps you're already working with one and have them continue to do their homework.
Yeah, part of the consultation, we usually go in and find like a bunch of different link sources that that the firm is missing out on that they can build.
Okay, you ready for the next question, Nick?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, going back to question number 4. How much does banner advertising, I guess this goes back to when you were mentioning banners, how much does banner advertising help in increasing our page authority?
Okay, great question. So, how do banner ads increase page authority? So, banner ads, they link back to your website just like any other link. And like you saw in transalolaw.com, most of their links were coming from images, which leads me to believe that they were banner ads. So that's a great example of a site that had a really high page authority or a homepage that had a high page authority because of all the banner ads they put out. So how does it affect it? Well, it's just another link. It's just another type of link. And depending on how high of authority the page that those banner ads are found on, the higher your page authority will be as a result. So if the banners are found on really low authority pages, it's just like a text link. It won't do much for your authority or your rankings. But if they're found on really high authoritative pages, then it'll do the same as a text link. It'll raise your PA and DA and also your rankings.
Yeah, I think whenever law firms or anyone trying to get their product or services out there use banner ads, it's just adding to a more integrated digital approach, I think.
Totally, yes. And from not only an approach, just from getting clients and traffic, but also from an SEO perspective, you want to have a diverse backlink profile, not only from text or redirects, but also from images. And more technically speaking, the anchor text of an image happens to be the alt text. So if that's as technical as we'll ever get on these webinars, but if you put an image on a web page, it asks you for the alt text, and if you make that alt text Connecticut personal injury lawyer, that will become the anchor text, so to speak, for that banner ad link.
Great. So now I think that it's our final question, because I don't see anything else coming up in Twitter or on Facebook. Number 6. When I'm looking up law firm related keywords, I often see AVVO and other directories first. Is there a way to rank above the directory so you're really number 1 and not technically number 3 or 4 for, say, Hamden personal injury lawyer? And
Yeah, that's
Hamden, by
also
the
a
way, is
very
a
good question.
town in
So,
Connecticut.
yeah, when ranking an individual page, the page authority normally trumps the domain authority. So, like we said earlier in the webinar, if the domain authority is very high, like let's say AVO is like in the high 80s or low 90s, the page will need a less page authority to rank. So that's why you see sometimes new pages like a PA1 or a PA10 ranking high in Google. So they'll need less page authority, and you may need to you may need a stronger web page than if it was like a DA 30 versus a DA 30. So let me back up here. If you have a DA 30 and you're going up against another law firm that has a DA 30 or a DA 31, your page authority of your page that you want to rank would only need to out muscle that and beat it by 1 or 2 PA points. But if you're going up against a DA 90 and they have a page that has a DA 10, you may need a PA of a 40 to outrank that PA 10. I hope that makes sense. So you'll just need more page authority to outrank that because it's on such an authoritative domain.
Yeah, and it sounds like something that sometimes can take some time.
Well, it could take time, but if you want a shortcut, you can rank your profile page on those legal directories, and you can borrow the DA in the meantime. So, like I said earlier, don't just try to rank your website. You can rank your profile pages on legal directories and borrow that high DA. You can also rank your video pages on YouTube that has a DA of 100. You can rank posts on Tumblr or Facebook or Google Plus, and borrow their DA and fight fire with fire, so to speak.
Great. So I think that closes up all the questions we had for this webinar. Is there anything you want to say in closing, Nick?
No, that's it. If you have any other questions, just email us at info@apricotlaw.com, and make sure to like our Facebook page so that you can find out about our next webinar. Jenny, our next one is next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you email, like Nick said, you can even help suggest whatever the next topics are, because Nick loves to, really help attorneys out what they really need.
Yeah, I think this week the Connecticut was from a user who wanted to hear about Connecticut. So, case in point. So thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.